To be a man is
to feel tough,
no emotion,
act strong,
hyper-masculine, kind of buff, rough and tough looking guy.
Being a person who is in touch with his emotions.
So I think the phrase be a man is inherently loaded by society, but if I was to say my personal definition of being a man, it's being who I am, and because of my gender, it's inherently what masculinity is. So being kind, being empathetic, understanding, good listener, good partner.
I've heard man up, grow up, don't cry.
wussy, man up, tough up.
Be a man, stand up for yourself. Or she's cute, go and do this. And it's like, okay.
You know, not be a crybaby, you know, or like, don't be a sissy, don't be a wussy.
I think like those traditional phrases you hear, things like man up or don't act like a girl, those are things that are associated with traditional masculinity that you hear.
Feels like I can't do what I want to do with my life, and that I have to go along this certain path that I don't necessarily want to go along, and I can't really live my life.
You know, it's kind of wrong a little bit, because, you know, just because you're a guy, you can show emotion, you know.
They make me feel shattered to realize what, I mean, it's the 21st century. Like, we shouldn't really be hung up on the things that were happening in the 1960s.
Sometimes it like makes me like kind of like my facial like when I'm talking about them like first like one-on-one, like it doesn't really come to me, but afterwards, like when I go home or something, like talk to myself, it's like, yeah, that kind of curve, yeah, you know, deep.
I've learned to try to address them properly, take them as an educating opportunity for whoever is making those comments. Try to have a conversation regarding the true meaning of those words, of those phrases, and where they're coming from, and what are their expectations when someone makes those comments.
Be overly controlling, overly obsessed, overly jealous.
Like property, I guess, or like an object, basically, you know, like no emotions for that thing, you know, like just doesn't care.
abuse them or something.
Probably treat a woman with like an object. Probably treat a woman with obviously pure disrespect, no consideration of who the girl really is, but rather of what she is, a girl.
Women should be almost subservient, and if I'm a good man, I should be protective of that person instead of like realizing their autonomy and seeing them as human beings and full people.
I'm the provider, I'm the worker, I bring in the money, you stay home, you take care of the kids, you be in the kitchen, you have the house clean.
Something that could at least help people.
I would be free-spirited and be able to travel a whole lot and live my life how I want to.
A pacifist, so like going around spreading love, not caring about that toxic masculinity, but just kind of overlooking that and then focusing on the people who really do need that love and affection.
More of a respecting kind of guy who, like, you know, who loves whoever he wants to, or like respects himself and also others in a way.
Yes. Yeah.
I think they should change.
I think they should change.
I do think it needs to change.
Yeah, they do need to change.
Yes.
It does.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because I feel like labeling all men under one specific thing for everything is not the way we should go.
Because if men want to show emotions, other people will judge them. Because people think that men are supposed to be tough.
Because nowadays people are changing. It's not really like the stereotypical, oh, strong, tough man, stuff like that.
Because not a whole lot of men actually look that way. There's a very small percent that actually does. And that small percent will only look that way for a small period of time anyway.
Because if we still have that idea and that norm about men being toxic and hyper-masculine, then what happens to the non-toxic and the caring and empathetic men and masculine identified people? Like, what happens then?
I'm inspired every day by the young men I work with, seeing them recognize what toxic masculinity even is, and trying to break down those walls themselves. I think this change is going to be led by them. It's not led by me. It's led by young people who are reclaiming this word for themselves.